With less than 3 weeks to go before the first votes are cast in election 2019, the political fight is heating up. Has the opposition managed to mount a strong counter to the Modi challenge? Is the Congress succeeding or failing at presenting a clear narrative and alternative? And is the lack of alliances in key states among opposition parties a sign of worry for the Congress? Joining me now to answer these questions and hopefully many more is senior Congress leader and former Union Minister Kapil Sibal. Mr. Sibal, thank you for speaking with Bloomberg Quint. Let me begin by asking you, what is the key counter that the Congress is presenting? Several opinion polls in the last few weeks show the Modi and BJP-led NDA coming either close or across the halfway mark. The UPA perhaps improving its tally from last time, but nowhere close. Do you think that there is a strong fight coming from your end?
Well, first of all, on the opinion polls, if we have to go by the opinion polls, we might as well not fight the election. So let's leave the opinion polls aside. What are the problems that are facing this country? And people are more concerned with those problems than the opinion polls. And I think that's where ultimately the voter will decide which way he wants to vote. What has this government and this Prime Minister given to the people of India? Other than misery, according to me, nothing. There is a serious farm crisis that has resulted in farmers marching hundreds of kilometers, whether to Mumbai or from Tamil Nadu to Delhi, and staying at Jantar Mantar and on fast. You've seen suicides. You've seen the farmer is not getting his cost plus 50%. He's not even getting the cost of his inputs. So there's a serious crisis as far as the farmers are concerned. So therefore, there is a rural crisis. Number two, the small businesses are all destroyed, partly because of demonetization and partly because of the fact that the GST was a flawed law and implemented very poorly. So that has destroyed a large number of businesses, especially small businesses, and the non-formal sector. So that's the impact on a large section of society. Then, as far as the middle class is concerned, the government servants are concerned, they're exceptionally unhappy with this government. To go anywhere and ask a government servant, he'll tell you why he's unhappy. As far as the middle class is concerned, I think there's a general feeling that there is an attack on the liberal values of this country, which are the foundations of our constitution. So they are unhappy. I don't know who is happy with Modi. Maybe 3 or 4 people are happy with Modi, especially the big industry. May be happy in Modi, but I'm not even sure about that, because there is the use of the ED, the use of the CBI, the use of income tax, and under the Prevention of Corruption Act, targeting particular people who are not openly with the government. So I think that if you really look at the national scenario, I don't see how Modi will be brought back to power.
Mr. Sibal, you've listed out a slew of issues that as a primary opposition party you have picked up, yet the most primary issue that Congress President Rahul Gandhi has picked up is Rafale. Now, there is no clarity on whether Rafale is resonating with people at all. I know you don't like the idea of opinion polls, and I agree that, they can't be counted on. But there is a fair amount of data showing that this as an issue is just not working. So while the focus could have been on jobs and rural distress, some time has been squandered focusing on Rafale. Let me just come to my question in one sentence, please. Do you think that the gains that the Congress made after 5 state elections late last year have been squandered in the last few months?
Not at all. Absolutely not. Why do you say that they've been squandered? The fact of the matter is that when the ordinary man goes to work, he asks himself, what has he got from this government in the last 5 years? And what has the Chowkidar given to them? After all, the Chowkidar is supposed to protect them from violence, they have not been protected. See how the Dalits have been dealt with through lynching. Right? See how violence has been generated within the university system. See how people generally are not protected. If anybody posts an anti-Modi post on social media, he is dealt with immediately. So there is this sense of fear. You see, when people go to vote, they don't vote on whether Modi is a chowkidar or is not a chowkidar. In fact, as a chowkidar, he's performed very badly.
You know,
because he must have been sleeping when Gurdaspur happened. He must have been sleeping when Uri happened. He must have been sleeping when Pulwama happened. Why were 40 of our Jawans killed? And what was the chowkidar doing at that point in time? Why did Pathankot happen? Why did he allow an ISI to come to Indian soil? So what has this chowkidar been doing, and why did his namesake flee the country, and why was he allowed to flee the country?
All right.
So what was the chowkidar doing? So this whole campaign of "Main chowkidar" is laughable.
Okay, I was going to just come to that. So the Chowkidar Chor Hai slogan mounted by the Congress has been countered by "Main bhi chowkidar." Just a few minutes, in fact, before we're having this conversation, Prime Minister Modi has addressed 25 lakh chowkidars. That's what the party has claimed via audio phone, talking about you know, how they all are chowkidars. Do you think that that slogan has sort of backfired?
On the contrary, it will backfire on him, because Mr. Modi has not now forgotten the chaiwalas. Remember the last election? He was talking about the chaiwalas throughout India. Now he's forgotten them. Now it is the chowkidar in India, right? So these are all gimmicks. These are all media events, which a lot of the electronic channels, you know, fall for. I don't think the people of India will fall for all this.
You spoke about Nirav Modi just a couple of seconds ago, and news coming in today that Nirav Modi has been arrested, will be presented in a London court. It takes the sting out of that allegation as well. Now, whether the court process takes long or not, if he's eventually extradited, will become irrelevant in a political perspective, won't it, Mr. Sibal?
Why was he allowed to go? Why was Nirav Modi allowed to go? He has to first answer that question. Take, for example, the Lokpal. This government came to power on the basis of the fact that there must be a Lokpal to fight corruption. And Mr. Modi forgot the Lokpal, forgot about corruption. He only talked about it. And then just 2 months before the election, he has allowed the Lokpal to be set up. And that also at the instance of the judiciary. So the Prime Minister is not committed to anything except himself, and I think the people have seen through it.
But
so his fight against corruption, and where are those Achhe Din? Where are the 15 lakhs? Where are those? I want to know from the people of India through you, where are the Achhe Din? Has anybody seen the Achhe Din?
Okay. Is the opposition...
And you think that he is going to... his campaign is media optics. That's all that there is. Okay. And we are falling for it.
So you asked, where is the Achhe Din? And, you know, as an opposition leader, you must ask that question. But people are also asking the question then, if not Modi, who will bring in the Achhe Din? I want to come in to you with the question of leadership alternatives. And then, of course, the alliance issue that the Congress seems to be facing.
Let's talk about leadership first. Who was the leader when Vajpayee ji lost in 2004? Was there an alternative leader that we projected? No. And yet Vajpayee ji lost.
So you're not projecting Rahul Gandhi. And
why do you say there will be no leader who will emerge? There are several.
No, so you're not projecting Rahul Gandhi
it's not a question
as your prime ministerial candidate.
Rahul Gandhi, who is saying that? Rahul Gandhi is the leader of the Congress party, and he has proved himself in the last assembly elections that he actually is the alternative to Modi. Now, the fact of the matter is, it all depends what the position of the Congress party is on May 22nd when the election results are out. At that point in time, it will be decided who shall be the Prime Minister of India. So I have not said anything. On the contrary, we are fully backing Rahul Gandhi. He is our leader, and we think, as the Congress party, that he is the alternative.
No, so you are saying that he is your leader.
As far as alliances are concerned...
No, 1 second, sir. Just 1 second, please. You're saying that Rahul Gandhi is your leader. Of course, he is the leader of the Congress party and Congress president. But you're saying we'll see what happens. There is a sense of uncertainty. And think of it of how the voter looks at it. You're going into this election saying maybe. You're going into the election saying maybe. You're not confident enough to say that he is our prime ministerial candidate.
You are misinterpreting what I have said. Completely misinterpreting, and you should not do so. At the moment, Congress has 44 seats. Right? Now, we will get to know on 22nd of May how many seats we will have beyond the 44 number. If we have enough seats that the Congress can lead a coalition, then according to me, Rahul Gandhi is our leader. There is no element of uncertainty. The element of uncertainty is in the outcome of the results on May 22nd as to how many seats the Congress will get, which in turn will determine as to what kind of coalition government will be formed if the opposition has a majority.
Okay. It is
both pre-alliance and post-alliance. Pre-election and post-election. So therefore, don't misinterpret what I said. I was quite clear in my answer.
Okay. It is the 23rd of May, and you talked about pre-election alliances. Let's go state by state. Let's come first to Delhi, your state. And what is going on with Aam Aadmi Party and Congress? Because we heard again and again from Sheila Dikshit, then from Rahul Gandhi, that there is no alliance, no alliance. A couple of days ago, we hear from Mr. P.C. Chako that we're reconsidering it. Aam Aadmi Party now says, no, we don't want an alliance. What is really going on here?
Well, you'll get to know very soon, because the election date's on May 12th, and much before that you'll get to know whether we have an alliance or we don't have an alliance.
But what are the considerations in place? If it's still up in the air, or if there is still no sealed deal either way, then why the equivocal reluctance to say that we're thinking about it? There was a very clear message a couple of weeks ago saying that no, we're not even considering an alliance.
I don't think that I can have this debate and disclose things to you on a television channel. These things happen, between parties and in the context of the overall vision of both parties. So you'll get to know soon enough.
Is the conversation still on?
You'll get to know soon enough. I think that answer should really satisfy you.
Okay, let's talk about the overall sort of lack of alliances that we're looking at from the Congress's side just about 3 weeks before the first vote is cast. Mr. Sibal, I want you to tell us what the concern is. Now, of course, there's been a lot of analysis, and the Congress has been getting a lot of advice from all quarters about how going into this election without strong alliances would be looking into complete failure. Is the hesitation that the Congress does not want to cede space to regional players and forget about 2019, we'll think about 2024, but first let's get our party ready from the ground up? Is that the thinking that's holding the Congress back from alliances?
That's just a question in your mind. I don't think that's anything to do with reality. What are our alliances? What have been our alliances in the past? Our alliances have been in Maharashtra, that's intact. Our alliance is there in Bihar, that's intact. Our alliance is there in Tamil Nadu, that's intact. Our alliance is there in Kerala, that's intact. So which is the alliance which is not intact? We never had an alliance with AAP earlier. So there is no question of that alliance not being intact or being intact. We never had an alliance in Uttar Pradesh earlier, except for the by-election when we didn't put up a candidate. We never had an overall alliance, right? Other than the fact that we were with the Samajwadi Party at one point in time. So there was no alliance in Uttar Pradesh as far as all the political parties are concerned. And yet, people are saying, why is the Congress not having alliances? With all the allies that we have in the past, we still have them. Now, we want to have more alliances, certainly, because our main aim is to make sure that Modi loses. In that context, we are moving forward, and as and when the situation will emerge finally, you will get to know about it. But the fact of the matter is that in many states there's a one-to-one fight. In Rajasthan there's a one-to-one fight. In Gujarat there is a one-to-one fight. In Madhya Pradesh there's a one-to-one fight. In Chhattisgarh there is a one-to-one fight. In Jharkhand we have an alliance. So I don't see what the criticism is for. And remember this, it's very easy for the BJP to have an alliance because they got a full majority in parliament, so they can actually deal with their alliance partners because their footprint in terms of votes gave them a majority. As far as we are concerned, we are only 44 at this point in time. Now, of course, it's increased because he won the by-elections. Now, in that context, what is happening is that we are the only national alternative, and we want to retain our position as the only national alternative. And any alliance which is not with our old alliance partners, naturally the regional parties want to increase their footprint beyond the state, and we want to make sure that we are the national alternative. So there is far greater dialogue in that process than it is between the BJP and the JDU in Bihar and the BJP and the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra. Because that's easy for them. And the BJP and the Akalis in Punjab. Because in Punjab, the BJP hardly has a presence. In Maharashtra, they have a presence. And in Bihar, they are equal partners. So I don't see what the criticism is all about. We have all our alliance partners intact.
Yeah, you say that, sir, but I don't know if it's a comparable situation because, like you said yourself, you're at 44. Apart from the by-polls, that's the Congress lowest point. I just want to read out a tweet, which I'm sure you've already seen, but for the purpose of this question, from Yashwant Sinha yesterday, who says, unsolicited advice to Rahul Gandhi, please finalize your alliances in Bihar, Jharkhand, Delhi and elsewhere today. It's already too late. This was out yesterday. The question is, if the purpose is, as you say, making sure the BJP doesn't come back to power and Prime Minister Modi doesn't get a second term, then won't the Congress have to sacrifice its ego and its position that we are the #1 alternative to achieve this goal? You ensure that the opposition vote is not split. Why are you hesitant to do that?
I think this comment is completely uncalled for. Where is the question of ego? Where is the question of ego, you tell me? We only have 2 seats in Uttar Pradesh. There's no question of ego. If somebody announces all their candidates and say we are leaving 2 seats in Uttar Pradesh for the Congress party, you think we're standing on ego? So let's not make these unsolicited comments. There is no question of ego here. It's a question of the fact you think that any regional party is a national alternative to BJP in India? Can anybody say that? And if we say that we are the only national alternative, is it a matter of ego that you talk about? I think that's very uncalled for. The fact of the matter is we are the alternative. There is nobody else who is the alternative. And wherever we have alliances, we have alliances. But if somebody says, okay, we are leaving you 2 seats, what do you expect us to do?
So what was the final number?
What do you expect us to do?
What was the final number in Uttar Pradesh that the Congress was willing to settle on?
Look, there is no question of making these comments on television channels. We have already announced our candidates in several of the constituencies, right? And we'll take it forward from there.
In Uttar Pradesh specifically, we have really never seen a situation where the SP and BSP have had to come together to fight the BJP. What do you think is going to be the impact of the Congress possibly fighting all 80 seats in Uttar Pradesh? Will it not be handing an advantage to the BJP?
So you think. I think we'll decide what we have to do in Uttar Pradesh, whether we fight all 80 or not. Obviously, we have decided not to fight all 80. You know that because you have left several seats in Uttar Pradesh to their leaders. So there's no question of fighting all 80 seats.
But this was rebuffed,
certainly,
sir.
We feel that in this context, even if we fight...
This was rebuffed by both Mayawati and Akhilesh.
What is rebuffed?
The offer to not fight candidates in 7 seats.
What is rebuffed?
They said, please don't, it's okay.
We are... Whether they have rebuffed or not, that's the reality that we are not putting up candidates there. So their rebuff is of no value.
So there is an understanding.
They have only said we rebuff it. Fine, let them rebuff it, but we're not put up candidates. Why do you say there's an understanding? And again, it's your spin. I never said there's an understanding.
It's a question,
It's our strategy. Whatever we are doing, we're doing with a strategy.
So which is why I'm asking. They're sparing 2 for you. You're sparing 7 for them. So there is some sort of an understanding, despite all the bickering and acrimony on the face of it, which is coming from the SP and BSP right now.
I don't know. You can give whatever spin you want to give, and that's not what I say, and that's not what I have said.
Okay.
It must be an understanding in your mind alone.
Okay, let's talk about Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Now, her sort of official entry to the Congress and taking on charge of Eastern Uttar Pradesh was supposed to be a big game changer. She's been described as the trump card for the party for a long time. And many questioned the huge gap and silence between the first announcement and then now what we're seeing, which is her first major campaign in Uttar Pradesh. What do you think is going to be her impact or the impact of her entry to this political arena?
I think that you will see the impact in the months to come. I think she's already started her campaign. And some people will question, of course some people will question, because some people always question the Congress party, because the Congress party is the target of many political parties. So some people will question, but the fact of the matter is Priyanka Gandhi is going to make a difference. Priyanka Gandhi is a great campaigner, I believe. And she will attract a lot of votes, youth votes. She will attract a lot of women votes. She'll attract a lot of, lot of other non-committal votes. And she'll be of great strength to Rahul Gandhi, and a great support for Rahul Gandhi and for the Congress party when she campaigns all over the country.
Why did she not contest then? It was expected that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra may contest as well. Would that not have had a bigger impact?
Now, the media will decide whether she should contest or not.
I'm asking, sir. It's my job to ask questions. It's my job to ask questions. It's your prerogative to answer.
No, there's no question of job. No, No. You are saying why should she not contest because she'll make a... It's for her to decide whether she wants to contest or not. How can that be a question? That's a decision of the candidate, of the person who has taken on this responsibility.
But since you're saying that she will have a major impact...
How can that be a question as if wouldn't she make a greater impact?
Yeah,
one second, let me answer.
Yes.
Please let me answer. Please let me answer. Whether it would have been a bigger impact or a lesser impact is something that the party and the individual will decide.
Okay, so did you all come to the conclusion
I hope I made
that...
myself clear.
Sure. Did you all come to the conclusion then that she would be more effective as a campaigner?
Again, you are unnecessarily raising a question. I said that's for the party and for the candidate to decide.
Okay,
I think I've already answered that question.
Okay, let me come to some of the promises that the party has made in the run-up to the election and how feasible they are or not. A big one, of course, is the minimum income support scheme. Then, of course, there is the promise that there will be a new version of the GST. Don't you think that more detail and clarity is required on what exactly this promise is and what it entails?
Yes, certainly, and you will see it in the manifesto.
And when will that be out?
Whenever it will be out. I can't give you the date. I can't tell media channel as to what is going to be the date of the manifesto. But whenever it will be out, there will be more clarity. We believe that we can muster enough resources for the minimum income guarantee scheme. We believe that the GST is flawed, and in fact, it's an admission that it is flawed by the present government revising all the rates and themselves saying that there should be a uniform rate. Just the decision the other day to reduce the GST on real estate. These are all admissions by this government that it was originally a flawed GST.
But aren't these decisions made by the GST Council, which include finance ministers from the Congress as well? So it's a joint decision in that sense, isn't it?
Sure. Wherever we are there, we are certainly joint decision. But it's still a flawed GST with 6 rates at one point in time.
Okay. Going forward, what do you think will be the big change for the Congress? Right now, the general perception is that the campaign is seeming lackluster. There's no clear peg, there are no clear alliances. The Congress seems to be trailing, especially events in the first 10 weeks of the year. The budget, which announced a PM Kisan Yojana, may have taken the sting out of this minimum income support promise. Then, of course, you had Pulwama, the Balakot strikes that occurred after that. the Congress party got attacked for questioning the Balakot strikes. Do you think that these events have been a major setback for your campaign?
On the contrary, the perception is that the Prime Minister, unlike Gandhi, who stood for truth, in fact, makes statements which are false, which have no regard to the truth. Our Prime Minister, who promised Achhe Din, 5 years have passed, no Achhe Din have come. Our Prime Minister promised a fight against corruption and to bring the Lokpal bill. There is no Lokpal bill. Our Prime Minister promised that he would be a chowkidar. I've given you examples as how it's been a disaster. He's perhaps the most expensive chowkidar in the world. The Prime Minister is only concerned, and the people have realized it, and that's the perception. Maybe you haven't sort of discerned that perception, but the perception is you can't trust the man. How do you trust a Prime Minister who tells you one thing today and does the opposite tomorrow? See what he said prior to 2014.
Sure, I'm asking you specifically about the impact.
On the Mahatma Gandhi. Yes. Yeah, one second. I'm talking about the perception. I'm talking about perception. This is the perception. Go to the ordinary people. Come to Chandni Chowk, my constituency. I'll take you along with me and find out what the perception is. Perception is not made by TV channels, on TV channels. Perception is on the ground.
I have actually covered your constituency in 2009.
There are good schools,
yes.
good schools to go to.
Yes.
Good schools to go to children. One second. Yes. People can't send their children to schools. So come to Chandni Chowk now and tell you the perception. Yeah. I don't think you've been there recently.
Yeah, no, I was just telling you because I actually covered the 2009 election when you stood from Chandni Chowk and you won handsomely. 2014 was
talking about now.
2014 was a very different story. 2014 was a different story.
Ma'am, I am talking about perception now.
Okay.
I'm not talking about 2014 or 2009.
Let me come to my specific question, please, Mr. Sibal.
I'm talking about perception now.
Let me come to my specific question.
Of course, if you're batting for somebody, your perception will be different. No. But I think we should go on the ground and find out from people.
No, absolutely.
Go to Bihar and find out the perception. Go to Kerala and find out the perception. Okay. Find out the perception on the ground. Okay?
Okay.
That's my request to you.
Okay. No, of course. Let me ask you the specific question I've been trying to, which is about what has changed after the Balakot strikes. Has the issue of national interest become more prominent?
Nothing has changed.
Do you think the Congress is on a back foot after the Balakot strikes and the handling of the issue by the party?
They are on a back foot. They are on a back. Why should we be on a back foot? They are the ones who politicize the issue, not us. We never questioned them. We only asked. When the Balakot strikes took place, we supported. We supported the government. Then they talked about 250, 350, 450, 500. The minister started saying a lot of things, spewing a lot of numbers, including Amit Shah. Then the Prime Minister went on a speech spree in which he had the martyrs, or photos of martyrs behind him, and he was making political speeches. We never politicized it. When they talked of numbers, we said we want to see the numbers because we'd be happy. We want not 500 but 700. Because our blood will run in our veins much faster if we get to know. And the families who have lost their sons or their brothers, they are asking, we want to see. So therefore, I think this is boomeranged, because now he has turned to the chowkidar. So first it was the chaiwala he forgot, now this he has forgotten, now he has turned to the maybe chowkidar, in the dressing chowkidar. These are all gimmicks, these are all media extravaganza events, and he thinks will be taken in by all this.
What is the internal assessment that the party has right now? The BJP has said it will cross 300 seats. Does the Congress have a number that you can share? What is the level of confidence?
I think the BJP will cross 500. Why just 300?
I'm asking about your number, sir.
The BJP will cross 500, given the figures. Why should I tell you about my numbers? You think that we are going to discuss all this on media channels?
So
there's enough support amongst the people of this country to know, let me answer. There is enough out there, enough people in this country who are against the present government. There's enough public support for the opposition, and according to us, Modi will not come back to power.
Will it be because
That's
of a
it.
joint alliance between opposition parties, or will it be because of the Congress's solo efforts?
It will be because the people of this country do not want Modi to come back to power.
All right. I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Sibal, for answering my questions. But I must say, considering Rahul Gandhi keeps telling the media ki daro mat, sawal pucho, you don't seem to be liking to answer a lot of those questions. But thanks anyway for your time.
Not at all. I've answered. You want me to answer in a particular way,
No,
madam?
not at all.
Madam,
Not
we
at
don't
all.
answer questions the way you want to answer.
Not at all. It's your prerogative.
Right. So that we will answer the way that we wish to, and I hope that I have given the answers.
Yes.
And I did feel that you were trying to get answers, and you wanted me to say something consistent with your question. I'm afraid that's not what I am sitting here for.
No, absolutely.
Okay?
No, you've answered all of
you
my
are performing
questions.
your duty. I am performing my duty.
Okay, that's great.
I hope you understand. I hope you understand that.
Yes. Thank you so much,
you.
Mr. Sibal, for your time and answering
Thank you.
all of our questions. Kapil Sibal, former Union Minister, Senior Congress leader, on the prospects of the party ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Just about 3 weeks to go, even as we speak. Thank you for watching.